Welcome back to part 3 of the StingyTrigger Lee Enfield Mark III number 1 rifle review. This particular rifle is the Lee Enfield Ishapore variant, chambered in the 308. Now I want to go over real quick here the features that you can look for to ensure that you're getting a 308 caliber rifle, particularly one of these most excellent Indian Ishapore variations. Now obviously the most notable feature is the removable magazine. However, there are a couple of later British versions and Commonwealth versions that also have the removable magazine. The main thing that you should look for on the magazine itself is both the removable floor plate, which you see on both of the magazines here, as well as the squared off edges coming down at a precise angle. The British versions will be rounded off on the older 303 style. There'll also be a completely single stamped piece of metal without this removable floor plate. The other thing when looking at these magazines, the British 303, which was a rimmed cartridge, has a much steeper angle of the bottom of the magazine. The wider rims at the end, as opposed to the bullets at the front, cause the magazine to look a lot more like this, even if it was removable from the gun in a later variation, as opposed to the almost square version that you get from loading the much more streamlined and uniform 308 rounds. Now the main thing you're going to want to look for past the magazine is the stamping that you'll see right here beneath the bolt. I don't know if you guys can see this all that well, but you will see a cartouche stamped and the words rifle 7.62 that's obviously for the 7.62mm designation, 2A1. You'll then see beneath it the initials RFI and the date. The RFI stands for Rifle Factory Ishapore, with the date, in this particular instance, 1967. Now these rifles were made by the Indian government from roughly about 1965 to about 1975, give or take a couple of years there. By and large, though, that's the main thing you're going to want to look for. Now, a couple of other things to look for to make sure you haven't had one that's been reconfigured with spare parts from a standard Enfield that might not fit. You're going to want to look up here at the top of the rifle, here at the spot where the stripper clips go in. And this is a standard rectangular stripper clip feed location that fits these very thin, skinny USGI 308 stripper clips, like so. If it's been replaced with one of the older 303 versions, this is a much deeper square and cutout here at the back of the rifle. Now, another thing to look for is up here on the rear sight. The rear sight of the Indian rifles is graduated and adjustable in meters from 2 to 800. The older British versions are in yards, typically up to 1,000 yards, and in some cases they'll be stamped out to 2 or even 3,000 yards. Wholly unnecessary with this rifle. But look for one graduated in meters. Again, you can also find stampings RFI, Rifle Factory Ishapore, on a variety of the components. Also, here at the front end, there's these two protectors for the front sight blade. On the standard Mark III number 1 from the British 303 variants, these are rounded off. They're semicircular half moons up here at the top. On the Ishapore rifles, they were completely squared up. However, as I said, thanks to replacement parts sometimes being used by the Indians out of the warehouse based on what they had at the time, this part, which is completely interchangeable with the British variation, will sometimes be rounded. But try to look for the square one if you're looking for one with all matching numbers. Another item to look for is back here on the butt plate. The British version used a brass butt plate. The Indian version used an aluminum butt plate. Yes, there's a little trap door to hold an interior oiler and cleaning kit. Not necessary, obviously, especially for just a fun gun. But look for this aluminum butt plate. Again, sometimes depending upon what was available in the warehouse at a particular time, you'll find that replaced with one of the original brass butt plates as well. Last but not least, one of the things that you should obviously look for is the magazine release right here in front of the trigger. It's a smaller lever just in front of the main trigger housing right behind the magazine. There are on occasion cartouches that you will find stamped into the wood. I don't know if you can see this, but again there's the remains of one here with an arrow and again RFI for Rifle Factory Ishapore. And sometimes you'll also have paint markings. These are usually from the Indian police or Indian military units. This one in particular looks like it was inscribed with number 16, probably the 16th rifle in the rack at this particular location. So essentially that's how you can tell apart your Mark III No. 1 Indian variations from the British Mark III No. 1 303 variations. And similar things go for accessories, most specifically the bayonet. The British bayonet is the 1907 sword style pattern. The Indian bayonet is the later jungle carbine pattern, which again will be stamped RFI and have a date between, again, about 1962 through about 1975, depending on manufacturer. Well, that includes our review of the Lee Enfield Ishapore 2A1. Again, an excellent, excellent rifle that I cannot recommend enough. If you like old battle rifles like me, and you're looking to shoot a quality piece of history that's going to last through your children, possibly even your children's children, as a fun gun to shoot and enjoy over and over again for a reasonable cost, at least as of March 2012, I cannot recommend the Lee Enfield Ishapore 2A1 chambered in 7.62x51 or 308. As always, thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more fun gun and project videos. As always, this is Trigger here saying remember, we're just a couple of city slickers working this out as we go along. Thanks for watching.